If you've had to buy a car over the last year or even longer, you know how hard and expensive it's been. And now another wrench in the works. A big spike in thieves targeting catalytic converters from vehicles on car lots. It's damaging those cars and delaying sales. Now, the converter is a part of a car, truck, or SUV that's attached to the muffler, and it makes it emit less harmful fumes. They use precious metals like platinum and rhodium, and that's why thieves target them, because they can be worth up to $500 each. Stealing one can cause thousands of dollars in damage to the targeted vehicle. And it doesn't just happen on car lots. People who live in Allentown, for instance, recently posted on social media about a recent series of thefts there over the last few weeks. And the state DMV commissioner told 2 on Your Side that these types of incidents have more than tripled in recent years, particularly at those new car dealerships.
We understand why the bad guys are doing this. The street value of these catalytic converters are anywhere from, $200 to $500 a pop. That's a lot of money. And for instance, some of this precious metal that are within the catalytic converter, for instance, rhodium. Rhodium goes for about $15,000 per ounce. So you can see why, there's an underground market on this, and we're doing everything we can to protect New Yorkers.
The DMV is working with 6 dealership associations across the state to try to help protect drivers, and that includes the Niagara Frontier Auto Dealership Association right here locally. And joining us live to talk about this is the president of that organization, Paul Stasiak. We appreciate your time, sir. It's good to see you. I know that this is not a new problem, but can you tell us how you've been seeing kind of this uptick lately, especially at those car dealerships with these catalytic converters being stolen?
Michael, thanks for having us on and talk about this. Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. This is not something that's new, but it is an elevated state for us, law enforcement, and just about anybody who's involved in the auto industry and outside the industry. We work closely with all the law office agencies, and it's just rampant. It's a new wave of theft that's in and out so quickly. It's very tough to contain.
A moment ago, we heard there from Mark Schroeder, who is the state DMV commissioner. Of course, he's a Western New Yorker who now has that job. And he mentioned how the state is trying to help the dealerships. And I know they have this, partnership with your organization. How do you fight back against this kind of problem? What is the work that's taking place right now?
Well, it's a multi-pronged approach, Mike. We are working with law enforcement. They can't get there. These thieves can take a catalytic converter off a vehicle in under 3 minutes. They can take 10 of them, obviously, within minutes. And I want to let the public know this is not just occurring at dealerships. It's occurring in charitable groups such as Feed More, emergency vehicles, school buses. We've had parents calling us that had their catalytic converters robbed at a high school graduation while there was a soccer game going on while they were in the building. So this is a new trend that we all have to start to embrace. The old adage, if you see something, say it. If you know something's wrong, don't let it go by the wayside. So if people are out and they see activity around cars, don't assume that they're a mechanic. Don't assume they own the car. Ask the question, call the police, and we got to try to trigger the response as quickly as possible.
Paul, we understand that there are these etching kits that some dealerships are now using so that they can identify the catalytic converters, at least on the cars at the dealership, so maybe they can identify them if they are stolen, if somebody takes them to try to make money off of them. Can you tell us about that effort and how successful maybe that's been? And then also, those kits are not available to the public. We mentioned, the thefts that happened in Allentown recently. You just told us about the graduation and all these places where people are having these stolen from the cars they've already purchased. What should just normal, Joe watching right now know about how he can protect his car?
Well, obviously, the easy thing to say is park it in the garage, get a safe area, but it's not that easy. We've worked in concert. We've worked in partnership with Mark Schroeder, Commissioner Schroeder from DMV, New York State Police, the chiefs associations. They've come up with an acid etching kit. It takes a few minutes to etch in a serial number on a catalytic converter. The purpose of that is if this catalytic converter gets robbed off a vehicle, they have to take it somewhere to cash in on their on their bounty. They would normally take it to a scrap yard or metal yard to try to sell it. If the scrap yard sees something with a serial number, we know the car it came off of, we know where it's coming from. That person now has a little better of an opportunity at the salvage yard to determine that this thing didn't come off somebody's personal vehicle. They'll be able to log in and see it came off Michael's vehicle and not the person who's trying to trade in 5 or 6 catalytic converters. It's a deterrent. It's not going to stop them from cutting it off. But if someone were to see some identification on a major component like a catalytic converter, it may prohibit them from going to your lot. We're doing it in our dealerships because there's a lot of cars there. But when we start putting the etching on the catalytic converters, we think it'll deter the candidate from trying to hand in something that's a hot piece of property.
Paul, before I get to my last question, just to follow up real fast, if somebody watching right now has had their stolen, how do you know? Like, you'll hear it, right, with your car?
Yeah, you'll know immediately. You'll think your muffler came off. The loud noise will be obnoxious. The smell will be onerous. Believe me, the minute you turn your car on, you're going to know something's wrong. And it's just that easy to detect that it's not operational.
Yeah, that's good to know. Before we let you go, one final question. We've been following this story and our viewers just can't get enough of it. It's been most read on our website, this incident that happened over the weekend at the West Her Toyota dealership in Orchard Park. We initially reported that 10 cars were stolen there. We're now told it's up to 16. I know that you're not part of that investigation, but what do you make of that? And is that as crazy as it seems to us when we hear it, or does stuff like that happen sometimes at car dealerships?
I'm not at liberty to talk about that. You're right. It's not my investigation. That dealership has tremendous amount of security cameras, processes in place. So there are vehicles robbed everywhere across the country. To have that many is an aberration. It's not a norm. What you're now reporting is most of those vehicles, I think, have been recovered. The process that West Her and all of our dealerships follow is pretty rigid with a key control system. You'll see multiple cameras in our dealerships. So, and they can determine what the serial number is on a dollar bill. And I think that's going to help law enforcement go forward. The risk is the people that don't have cameras on their businesses. And I'm not in the business to promote camera business, but this is a time, it's a different change, different culture. So what happened at West Her could happen anywhere, could happen in a Walmart parking lot for that matter. So it's sad, tragic, but it's a sign of the times, regrettably.
Yeah, you talked about how quickly these people can steal the catalytic converters off cars. Clearly, they can steal cars pretty fast, too. So, man, it's a sign of the times, I guess. Paul Stasiak is president of the Niagara Frontier Auto Dealership Association. Thanks so much for coming on. It's good to see you.
Michael, thanks for covering the story. It's that important. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you very much.